Hello, fellow students, and welcome to our final project multimedia presentation for Communications 101 of Spring 2024.
This broadcast is brought to you by CV19. Our group name is the Four Musketeers, and I am Alexandria Pugh.
I am Ashley Sorensen.
I am Ludmilla Masatkin.
And I am Aaron Thompson.
Our communication issue is feedback and how it affects our nation during this pandemic.
We will be sharing news clips and interviews to help educate the class on how various kinds of feedback play a role in our lives during this hard time.
All right, thanks guys. And for some insight on the virus, according to the World Health Organization, COVID-19 is an infectious disease that primarily is spread through droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose. People with underlying medical issues pose a greater risk if they contracted the virus. And at this time, there are no specific vaccines or treatments, and most states still have parts that are under lockdown or have restrictions in place to promote social distancing.
Welcome to CV19 News Center, the news station that has all of your COVID-19 updates and information. I'm your host, Alexandria Pugh, and today's topic is feedback from American citizens on how the virus is affecting them. Feedback, whether negative or positive, can help how our government releases information and how they can effectively change the way they deal with certain events, including the COVID-19 virus. The clip I'm about to show is how feedback can affect a certain Democratic senator and shows how he feels about the second stimulus check proposal. He reacts in a negative way towards the Republican Party and responds so emotionally to a proposal he believes can help people in need during this trying time.
Fast forward a few months, global pandemic, 36 million people unemployed, 40% of families who have a worker that makes $40,000 a year and less lose their job last month. 4 million people didn't pay their rent, and the Republican Party says, we don't have any money to help you. Are you kidding me? Where do you guys live? Food lines around the blocks at our food banks in the United States of America. 1 in 5 kids are going hungry. Your party can't even get food to them. This isn't a wish list. If it's a wish list, it's for the working class people.
This emotional statement in the House of Representatives can either have a negative or positive effect on how the public receives this feedback and how the government is dealing with relief regarding the COVID-19 virus. Some people could be outraged that a Democratic senator is publicly enraged with the Republican Party as a whole, and others will agree with how this senator reacted. How do you feel about this video? Vote on our Twitter page at COVID-19. Next segment is coming soon from Ms. Mila Musudkin. Mila?
Thank you, Alex. That was very informative. Well, hello there, beautiful people. This is Mila reporting about the feedback some citizens had toward the stay-at-home order. As some of you may have already heard or seen, there are people protesting the stay-at-home order. In fact, there was even a rally on April 19th here in Washington, more specifically Olympia. While peaceful, this rally was a health risk. In a few other states, people actually brought guns to their rallies, such as in Michigan. This is a good example of negative feedback, but unfortunately it's also putting the health of others at risk, as well as disobeying legal orders. We as citizens of America have the right to protest things that we see as unjust, but some people took this quite far, even as to bringing weapons to a rally against a disease. Well, of course, everyone is entitled to their own opinions. Next up, we have Ashley giving us insight on positive feedback.
Thank you, Mila. Hello, my name is Ashley Sorensen, reporting on the positive feedback coming from citizens during this global pandemic. We have seen a large increase in positive feedback after the CDC released a list of recommendations for citizens to follow in attempts to slow this outbreak. Many Americans are bundled up in their houses, closely following the stay-at-home order and taking stronger precautions when leaving the house for essentials. All of these precautions may seem overwhelming, but it is strongly encouraged. If you haven't already, please read through these recommendations posted on CDC website and follow them to the best of your ability in order to keep yourself and those around you safe while we're trying to slow this outbreak.
Thank you, Billy. And Dolly donating $1 million specifically to find a cure for coronavirus. Taking to Instagram to reveal the news, she explained her dear friend is a doctor at Vanderbilt University in her hometown of Nashville. He is involved in the research, and she writes, quote, I'm making a donation to Vanderbilt towards that research. I'm also encouraging people who can afford it to make donations as well. And guys, Dolly is also giving a gift to kids during this unsettling time. Starting tonight, the Queen of Country will be reading children's books on her YouTube channel to engage with kids before bedtime. Listen up.
As you can see, this is a perfect example of positive feedback. Dolly received this information and in response put her best foot forward with a large $1 million donation and a plan to brighten Young Kids Day as well. Dolly plans to do nightly live stream readings, which is sure to put a smile on many faces. We can only hope this gratitude continues to be shown from individuals during this pandemic. Now back to our lovely host, Erin.
All right, thank you, Alex, Mila, and Ashley. And that is a wrap for today's segment on feedback in regards to COVID-19. As you can see, people are responding to the virus in many different ways. Some decide to contribute to the cause, like mentioned earlier, with Dolly Parton making a generous donation. Others seem to think that holding rallies to show their frustration is sufficient. The input of positive and negative feedback from the United States citizens and political figures is important because it shows how we as a population are responding, and it gives people something to think about in regards to how they may want to contribute to society. With this information, how will you give feedback on COVID? And what do you think is the best way to express your feedback on the topic? Let us know on our Twitter page at 4MSKTRS. And until next time, thank you for tuning in on CV19.